Right, it's useless.
Yeah, so
So
whether it's
if
red or
we
green
take
and
that out, we basically have two.
Are you talking about on 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
between
So
the
if
road
you
and the
take
railroad.
out 50, we basically have two commercial zones, which is one off of Rising and one where Cool Springs is gonna go up that 79 interchange. I can see that being developed as commercial someday, but is the Rising area actually where the commercial should be going, is what I'm asking. I'm okay with it, I'm not opposed to it if we think that there's the potential for commercial development. I just want to make sure that there actually is the potential.
But yeah, isn't that where we go? I mean, you're not gonna see a commercial development in the middle of 980 right up here over the hill off of by Vincennes Road. No commercial business is gonna go there, at least not a development line.
Yeah, I think you have to be as focused as possible around Interstate 79 and the Southern Belt. I mean, that's going to be your best chance for growth.
Right.
In commercial.
Or at least preserve it. I mean, we can't control it when somebody comes in, unless we offer tax breaks and things like that. But we can at least preserve it for the future.
So then to your point, why, so, okay, so that stays, why have all of this mixed use? Nobody's gonna develop commercial zones off of Shoshone Road. Like, you're not gonna put a commercial or whatever, like, that's gonna be residential. Like, that's a residential development off of Shoshone Road. You're not gonna put, like, industrial uses off of that.
Yeah, so, and again, I have no stake in the game. The argument about, let's just call it the Cotton property, was that even though, thinking down the line, that this was a large, open area that was basically under the control of one individual, that somebody could put this together and sort of create a new area in the township. That's the argument they made in the steering committee. I mean, it was like a last second change.
I know, a new area for what purpose?
Well,
Like, what would you utilize?
Well, again, you could, as mixed use, it could have, let's for instance, like, the big thing now is town centers, right? Everybody wants to have a town center. So St. Clair has that Siena, that's their town center. Up in McCandless, they have McCandless Crossings. Up on 19, they created that whole big center of the town, place with a town center. So you could have a Cecil town center in here that could be built out of this mixed use that would have a little commercial corridor and expand out. But again, I'm a visionary. That's all. That's.
But you can't change the roads that access that, and you're not going to put a town center having people go up Shoshone Road or up, like, it's not an easy accessible property.
I would agree with you, and you're right. And transportation is very important.
Yes.
So
that's what I'm saying. So, like, is there, instead of having a huge parcel, I understand that it's one owner, it's a huge bunch of land, but does it make sense, what'd you say?
700.
Yeah, but does it make sense to put it there when nobody's actually going to develop it? I think that was our problem in our past map, which is we have all this land that can't actually be used for what it was zoned for.
So mixed use, apartments, small retail, office, duplexes, restaurants, banks, townhomes, single-family residential, and master plan development only. This is the community's most diverse, dense, and walkable land use. South Point and planned future development projects are the key drivers in enticing the use in this location. So that's what the comp plan says.
I know what the definition of it is, and that's exactly why I'm saying that's not it. Like, you look at Cool Valley, the potential for development of Cool Valley, it's right off 79.
Yeah,
you
right.
Look at the potential, or the development of South Point, it's right off of 79. What main road is, we'll call the Cowden property?
You could really, it's only a connection between East Bishop and
980.
And Miller's Run. There's a connection between the two. Now, that road would have to be upgraded totally. It would have to be upgraded to current standards. It's not, I mean, it's a...
Well, East Bishop, that whole intersection would have to be...
Yeah, I mean, there's
no good way getting to that property.
But Cindy, I don't disagree with you. I mean, if the board would like to take that out and focus more around the interchanges and stuff like that.
I think so too. I think that the property, like, nothing's actually gonna happen there. So to say, okay, here's a map to our residents, here's a map, and we plan for mixed-use commercial, and we know that this huge 700-acre parcel is never actually gonna be developed into anything in the definition of mixed use except for maybe houses, why wouldn't we just make it residential? Or what is it now? I don't know what it is now.
It's R, I
It's
think it's R
residential.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Like, why not just leave it? Anything?
What's that?
What do you think?
I don't think it should be that.
It's a recommendation by the board, I just think it should remain.
See, I know you're talking about it might end up being developed as residential, most likely, because if that's the best use for it, that's what the developer is going to do, he's going to buy it as residential. But if he has the potential, like Joe DiNardo did for Christine Fields, he had a little area for commercial. Now, he decided it was not commercial, like C3DM or something like that, that
Yes.
area. And he decided, eventually he sold off his house, he decided he didn't want to do some convenience commercial there. But he had that opportunity, and as part of his plan, the first plan showed a little C3 commercial area there.
Why don't we change it to medium density residential?
Yeah.
You still can't do the, if it has the R designation, you can't have any development in it, if it's R1 or R2. It can't be any commercial in it. That's what,
I just think it's misleading.
well, wait, I think it was a good idea, when they said mixed use, I think there should actually be a zone called mixed use. We have a zone called BPD, Business Park Development, we have a zone called Special District, it's SD District at South Point, it's a mixed use. That mixed use, that's kind of unique, that if you own 700 acres, you know, you might have, might all be residential, but you could have a little area of commercial for that development.
I
So-
think it's misleading though. It makes it look like this isn't all residential, and that's exactly what it
Let's
is.
say it again.
It's misleading because we know that more likely than not, that this parcel, this 700-acre parcel is gonna be developed into residential. The
Most likely, right.
Most likely. The likelihood that it would be developed to anything else is not very high. But it makes it look like we have a good balance of mixed use and commercial when we don't. Because all of this orange striped area still has the potential to be developed into residential area, which would still mean that a majority of our map still looks like this.
Right, but again, a developer who comes to buy it, if he's into commercial development, he's not going to want to do development up on, a commercial development up on Cooper Road, or County Road, or anything like that.
I
agree with you on
agree.
that. So it's going to develop, you know, whoever wants to buy it is probably residential. But I'm just saying that the fringe area is right against the highway, like East Bishop Road, right around like the Slade Up area or something like that. Someone might say, I want to put a little convenience area right there, like DiNardo was going to put in his plan. That leaves the opportunity for some mild commercial. Now, I don't think you have to be afraid of mixed-use commercial, what they're proposing, because it's so mild. I mean, there wouldn't be any gas station, there
I'm
wouldn't be
not
any...
afraid of what would go there. I want more commercial in the area. My point is, because commercial is what's gonna keep our tax base growing. My point is, we're saying, when we pull out this map, we have too much residential, and we need more commercial on zones that actually can be developed into commercial. My point is, with this, we're saying this area here specifically has the potential to be commercial when we know before we vote on this map that it's not going to be, that it's gonna be residential. So why would we not either look for another area that we know has the actual potential to be mixed use, residential and commercial, versus changing this because the, like, I'll just be honest, because the person that was on the committee wanted her own property zone that way. It's just not realistic. Like, it's not gonna end up commercial. Or maybe it's gonna have one teeny tiny store on the border of East Bishop, but that's not gonna help anything.
Are there other potential commercial areas that we could be targeting?
Well, I was going to bring up next on Baker Road, above the Delavay Farm.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
go right past the Delavay property, there's a big parcel.
64 acres.
Yeah, I don't know.
Landlocked zone.
And above it, there's two more parcels that touch all the way to the South Bay line. It's all gravity flow down. There's no sewer in there right now, but the Teodora treatment plant is going to become a pump station in the near future. So that basically gets that area to be sewer. It's gravity flow. It's completely, there's no residential areas around it except, you know, above Delavay. I mean, he's the only residential place there. All the way to the South Fayette line, there's nothing there. And it has potential, the 79 interchange is right there, the toll road interchange is right there. So to me, that's the kind of prime area where the developer will want to go for commercial development.
Right, so why would we make that mixed use or that commercial and leave this medium density residential?
Well, you don't want mixed use on a prime area.
So make it commercial.
I'm just saying that, remember what South Fayette almost did down there? They almost took that prime property by their new interchange, whenever they took that five-star theater. They almost were going to put a municipal building there, and they would have lost a complete tax base, and that's probably the most prime areas in South Fayette Township for value for development. So they did, I mean, I don't know what changed their mind, but it was good to see they did. So I'm saying, you're actually protecting areas sometimes from these residential developments.
So then let's make that off of Baker Road, those parcels commercial and make this medium density, which is what it should be and what it's going to be developed if it's developed.
So then you would still should look at along this road, some area for mixed use, because those areas need some commercial,
So you could leave,
they call it
like,
convenience commercial.
so, and I can't show all of you, but like you could leave this little tiny, like, that runs actually along East Bishop, mixed use, but make all of this medium density residential. I can't
How
look
can
up.
we do that if we just turned over, huh?
Well, but it's because I put.
You want commercial?
Yeah, he's right. There's residents that live in
Yeah.
Fair
This
Meadows.
is private open space.
Golf course, it's in.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah,
rebellion.
that's Valley Brook, yeah. Valley Brook Country Club, the piece of
I can't point
And then
out.
what's the
because I
next
can't-
one?
South
You stand up.
I don't, I
I
can't.
think that's just municipal
I
property.
can't look up. Sorry.
That's okay.
I would address that.
But like, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
I know what area you're pointing to, but
like along East Bishop. Sorry, I threw out my net, so I can't look up.
you have that pointer?
Yeah.
Here, hold on.
Well, we know, I don't know if everybody knows, Dan knows
I
it.
can't turn around.
His slate comes through and gets
I
developed.
can see, Jack, can you point along East
So
Bishop?
now, no development.
You brought up with it.
All he's waiting for right now is the DEP to transfer the consent order from Cecil to him. And he told me he's had several meetings with DEP.
He's close. They're not against it, they're just,
No, they just go put his name on it. Is that right, Dan?
they're just bureaucratic, that's the. Can you, see, that's 980.
So there's music right there.
East Bishop is right there.
So
Like I
like,
said, point to Johnny Yeager's property.
Yeah, Yago's property is right there. He was here,
He on
so
both sides of the road.
those, so those
Yeah,
people,
yes.
those people came to me, I mean, originally it was this, Klosky's property, the slate dump, and Yago's property, I think was what
so
originally.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, those three right around there
So
were
leave
originally, and then it
those,
was
because I could
expanded.
see those developed eventually because they run from Cannonsburg to Cecil, like a lot of people take that. But everything else to the left of, yeah, like all of this needs to be made back into, so leave Jack Point.
One.
I can't.
I see what you mean.
Huh?
Gold.
So leave this mixed use,
Right.
leave this mixed use, and this mixed use, and then make all the rest of this medium density.
Well, that's already BPD. You gotta leave that the same. I mean, you don't want to downgrade
Where?
from BPD to mixed use.
This is BPD.
No, not to the right, down. That's all BPD right now.
So leave it.
Kosky's property.
So make it mixed use or
That's
BPD.
the
Well, no,
zoning, zoning designation, right? Is-
Right now, it is BPD. No, you don't want to downgrade that to mixed use because that's real mild. That's convenience
What's
commercial
BPD?
almost.
Business development.
So we want that to be more commercial, Tom?
Well, yeah, I mean, business park is set up, we have an industrial zone that the T. Dory Park is. I don't know if you've all seen the T. Dory Park. It's ugly. There's no covenants, no